kick it off when you were 16 with a dream. You were calling the shots and they were calling you queen. But then out of nowhere you're all alone. You're calling your friends but nobody's home. You wonder who it is, but darling, the truth is nobody likes you, nobody wants to. If somebody loves you, they'd prefer not to. It's sad, but it's true, girl, nobody likes you. Let's pick it up when you were 19 with a plan. You were top of the heap and they were kissing your hand. But all of a sudden, what do you see? You're calling your family, nobody's free. You got a call, take it from me. Nobody likes you, nobody wants to. If somebody loves you, they prefer not to. It's sad, but it's true, girl, nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants to. If somebody loves you, well, they'd prefer not to. Nobody likes you, nobody wants to. If somebody loves you, they prefer not to. It's sad, but it's true. It's sad, but it's true. Nobody likes you. Kidding.
Hey, you're keeping company with Connor, and you're listening to another Town Square Spotlight. I'm really excited about this one. You got to love those moments when you run into people or you meet people just by chance. And you know what? I really got to meet this star by chance, and I'm so glad to be talking with him today. Hudson Valley residents got to see him perform at the Tarrytown Music Hall a couple of weeks ago, August 18th. He was opening up for Grammy-nominated Platinum-Selling artist, 5 for Fighting. So incredible. He's got a new song out, just came out on September 6th, called Nobody Likes You. He played at that show. It was so good. And also the studio version, so good as well. With us to talk about all the recent success he's had in music, we have Upstate New York artist Kieran Rhodes. Kieran, how are you?
Hey, man. How you doing? It's good to be here. Good to be here.
Happy to have you, man. Honestly, I was blown away by your performance at the Tarrytown Music Hall. I thought it was great. It was just you and the piano at the time. You didn't have like a full band like you'll hear on the studio versions of your songs. But, dude, it just really highlighted, one, your piano playing, and two, your incredible lyrics. You're really good at like coming up with some like really great word paintings in your lyrics. I think that's great. What was that like opening up for 5 for Fighting there in Tarrytown?
It was pretty surreal, honestly. I have listened to the band. I've listened to John for like my whole teenage years. So he has always been a big influence. And, you know, growing up, learning how to play piano, like late in my life, I was drawn to a lot of just those piano men like Billy Joel, Ben Folds. And at the time, John in the 2000s, you know, he had a lot of really hitty piano intros.
Yeah.
And I remember just trying to learn how to play those myself. And it was just a really full circle experience to be able to open up for him, all those years later, because, he really has been an influence. And I got to speak with him backstage after my set, and he came up to me in my green room, and he was like, "Holy crap, man, you can write songs." And I was like, "Holy crap, man, you can write songs." And we were laughing about it. But yeah, it was I was just so grateful, and he's such a great guy, and just so down to earth, and just honored to be able to do that and play such a small part in his incredible, long lasting career.
Absolutely. John, he's been a friend of this program. We've had him on a few times now. And yeah, no, he's been a big inspiration on me. Superman, It's Not Easy is probably my favorite song of his. What about you? What would be your favorite Fight for Fighting song?
That one and The Riddle makes me kind of emotional. I also love his work in film. Like he wrote some songs he wrote a song for Chicken Little, which is so good, in the movie Chicken Little. And then also the movie Everyone's Hero. He has like 2 emotional songs in both of those movies. And that's kind of what introduced me to him, actually, because I was watching those movies and I heard those songs as a kid. And I was like, what is that? That's a great song.
I don't think I know that second movie. You said Everyone's Hero?
Everyone's Hero. It's an animated movie about a kid who plays baseball. And it is like right up John's like brand alley with baseball too. Like it's the perfect fit. The song is so great. You should check it out.
I haven't checked out the movie. I'm curious if I've heard the song because I'm pretty deep into his stuff, but that's cool. I also know his work from it was in The Blind Side with Chances too. But you mentioned baseball. Baseball is a big part of your life. So let's kind of backtrack a little bit now. We were talking about Tarrytown. That's pretty much the present, just happened. But let's bring it back a little bit. Little Kieran Rhodes, before you wanted to be this music star, before you started going viral, and we'll go into how you went viral in a little bit. But before all that, you thought you were going to be this big baseball player. You thought that was the journey that life was going to take you on. So tell us about that. Tell us about those early dreams, your love of baseball, and how and where it kind of transitioned.
Yeah, dude, it's such a crazy story. And, I always get chills when I talk about it because the whole thing is just so surreal to me and always will be. But I grew up playing baseball. I wasn't really a musician at all. My dad was kind of like star athlete in high school and college. So as soon as I was born, like I had a baseball bat in my hand and I was playing. And, I started very, very young and, put a lot of work in, met some of my best friends on the baseball field, grew up with them, played baseball with them. We got older together on the baseball field. And around the time of middle school, that's if you want to play like Division I, around the time of middle school is when you got to start like being pretty serious. You got to be on a good travel summer program if you want to, get seen by scouts and stuff. So I tried out for this team called the Adirondack Heat, which was one of the best teams in upstate New York. And I made it onto that team, and we traveled just every week of the summer, essentially. I mean, I'd get out of school in June, and then I just essentially get in the car with my dad, and we'd jump from tournament to tournament to tournament. And then next thing you know, it would be like late August, and we'd be getting ready for the next year of school. And that's just what my life was like throughout my whole teenage and late, kid life, was just traveling and playing baseball and spending all this fun time with my friends in the hotels and like causing all of this trouble at these tournaments. And I have the best memories from all of that. And yeah, the whole thing is you play these tournaments and D1 scouts go and they watch you and they scout you and they maybe want you to be on their team, on their roster when you get to be old enough. And that was the plan. And by the time I hit like freshman year of high school, everybody on my team was committed Division I except for me. And the reason that was the case was because I was starting to really slack. I was missing practices. I was missing tournaments. I was just kind of not really into it anymore. And that was because music stepped into my life very randomly. Mm-hmm. And around freshman year, I sat down at the piano for the first time, and I can't really explain the feeling, but I just kind of felt like that was what I was meant to do. And I just looked up YouTube videos and I taught myself how to play piano. And the next year, I taught myself how to sing and play piano. The next year, I taught myself how to write songs. And then by senior year of high school, I had got accepted into Berkeley College of Music. And my whole life just totally shifted from baseball, baseball, baseball to holy crap, I want to be a rock star and I'm born to be. And it was just the craziest, craziest thing, man. And once I got to Berkeley, I mean, it was just unbelievable. Things started happening so fast. And it's funny just to talk about because I'm 22 right now and I mean, I've been playing for probably like 6 or 7 or 8 years. That's it, 8 years. And so much has happened in this short time span that I've been in music. And I'm just so, so grateful for all of it. And it's really been a dream come true and continues to be, you know, as things unfold. But yeah, that's essentially it.
No, that's amazing though. I think that's great. And I love that you're able to find music. And I also find it interesting. I'm curious then, with all the traveling that you did for sports and tournaments, do you feel like that's kind of prepped you for all the touring that you've started to do and have yet to come?
Yeah, that's actually funny. I never even thought of that. But honestly, like, yeah, all I remember really is just sitting in the car with my dad driving, just like looking out the window, listening to like Coldplay or like Billy Joel and just like driving from place to place to place. That's like, I just have all of the memories of that. And yeah, I realized that, yeah, I'm starting to travel all the time now and with touring and stuff and all that stuff, so like sort of approaching me. Yeah, it's something I'm used to now. You're right.
Yeah, something that's gotten you ready for it. I think that's really cool. So you studied at Berkeley School of Music. That's really impressive.
Hmm.
That was one of the schools I was looking into. I ended up choosing St. Rose. They gave me more scholarships for music. But
Oh, sweet.
Berkeley's such an amazing school, of course, and I know a lot of great people over there. And something that you did, and correct me if I'm wrong, during your time at Berkeley, was that when you went on to America's Got Talent, and that's when everything kind of really snapped and changed for you? Was it during
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it was. And you know, like I said, when I went into Berkeley, I was very, very nervous and scared because I had got accepted to this very prestigious school, and everybody around me had been like training their whole lives to be there. And I had just been playing for like 5 years, and like I could write some songs, and like I couldn't do these crazy solos and do all this stuff yet. And I just felt very, very intimidated and overwhelmed by the people around me because everybody is so, so, so talented there. And I really struggled my first semester to kind of find a place and find my place there. Um, but I quickly realized that, you know, even being surrounded by some of the greatest musicians in the world, how hard it is to write a song. And I mean, I genuinely was around the greatest musicians in the world, and I can only name a handful of people that I found and said, okay, you can write songs. And that's how hard it is to be a songwriter. And I found that to be my strength. I was like, okay, everybody around me can do all this crazy stuff, but like I know that I can write songs, and that's what my standout is. That's what I'm going to hold on to throughout my 4 years. And that's what helped me get through. And it was like second semester, fall of 2021, where I had written a song. I was kind of struggling at the time. I was going through some depression at the time, uh, which is something that I, you know, struggle with all of the time, and I think it's very, very normal too. But I was going through it then, and I wrote a song called "Disengage" one week, and I thought it was all right, but I was kind of testing it out, playing it for friends and stuff. And I had this opportunity to just play it at some like little Berkeley event, um, kind of like just some little showcase, and like nobody was really there. And I just played the song, and nothing happened, nothing came of it. And 2 weeks later, I got a phone call, and it was the producer from AGT, and she was just like, "Hey, I was at the place that you played Disengage, and we want you to come on the show, and you need to play that song. And I kind of just, in that moment, my whole kind of world turned upside down, because I was never thinking that was even a possibility. And two, like, I had just gone through what I thought were the 2 worst months of my life, and what they turned into were the 2 most important months of my life. Because if I didn't go through all of that, then I wouldn't have written that song. And if I didn't write that song, then I wouldn't have been on the show. And everything after that, wouldn't look the same either. So, as I get further away from it, I feel more grateful for that stuff that I was going through at that time. But yeah, I went on America's Got Talent that following spring. I played Disengage for America. It went well. I got the 4 yeses. I had a viral moment on television, all of that crazy stuff that came with it. And then, my time on the show ended, and I was happy that it did, because I didn't want to get sucked into the whole TV music world, because it's not what you think it is, at all. And, me being an artist, a performer, a songwriter, like trying to be like a Billy Joel, like going far on a show like that doesn't do what you think it would do. You're getting fans of people that like the show that you're on, not necessarily people that like you. They like the season that you're on, right? So there's a big deal of that. And it's one of the reasons why you see a lot of people go far on these shows and then you never hear from them again. And you're like, wait, what happened to blank? And it's like, oh, that wasn't the thing. And yeah, I was glad that I kind of punched in. I got that viral moment, and then I left and wasn't attached to it at all. And I just got that little thing, and then I got out, and that gave me just a little boost enough to just keep going. And I got back to Berkeley that next year, and I was just treated very differently. Honestly, I was treated very differently. Everybody there knew me, and all of a sudden people knew who I was there when I didn't know. Nobody knew me before then. And then all of a sudden everybody on campus knew me. And I had all these people who didn't want to go out and get coffee with me start texting me saying that they wanted to go get coffee with me. And everybody started crawling out of the woodwork. Yeah. And that's just how it goes, man. And it was great though, because I finally had this reassurance that what I was doing was right. Because at the beginning of an artist's career, as a songwriter especially, you think you're doing something really important, but you don't really know until you see it. And that was an experience for me where I was like, okay, I am doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. I need to keep doing this because it's working. So that just gave me what I needed to finish at Berkeley. And, I got, opportunities came after that. I got to play Sound on Sound Music Festival, in last fall. John Mayer, Red Hot Chili Peppers played that thing. I played Boston Calling this May. Ed Sheeran played it, and I'm spacing out like a bunch of others. It was a huge, huge festival for Boston, and yeah, it's been nuts. I got to open up for JP Sachs this year, and like, all these things are just continuing to happen. And it's been this very, very overwhelming, but very special thing.
That's amazing, man. I am so happy to hear that for you. As somebody who's gone to music college as well as a songwriter, I feel you about that initial experience that you had being surrounded by the best musicians. I remember my first weekend there was an open mic, and getting to see all the seniors perform with all of us little freshmen gathered together is like, well, I'm just going to break my drum set. I'm going to smash my guitar. I'm going to just rip out my vocal cords now, because we're like, why are we here? But it's true though. You can be surrounded by so many amazing musicians, but those musicians will have nothing to do without the songwriters. So I'm glad that you're able to find that niche. And I just love that story of you being able to kind of punch in, punch out for America's Got Talent. It was able to get you a lot of different doors. That song Disengage has millions of views and streams online. And now you have tens and thousands of followers to be able to follow you and your musical journey. And that's amazing that you got all those festivals, man. That is so, so cool. Let's talk about the music here for a second then. Disengage, wonderful, wonderful song. It was so good to hear it live. And of course, you can check that out online. But your latest song, which you also played at the Tarrytown Music Hall performance, Nobody Likes You. I love that song, man. That is so much fun. It's such a great diss track, but also just so much fun to listen to in general. Can you tell us a little bit about that song, Nobody Likes You, that just came out?
Yeah, man. So yes, that song just came out. I was listening to a lot of Ben Folds, and I love Ben Folds. And
So
something
good.
I very much admire about Ben Folds is that his lyricism is so satirical at times. And if you sometimes you'll listen to a Ben Folds song and you'll hear it and if you're not really paying attention, you'll hear it the wrong way. But then when you think about it, you're like, that is one of the most intelligent songs I've ever heard in my life. And I listened to a lot of that, and I wanted to write a song that was so like blatantly out there, like Nobody Likes You, but also make it interesting in a way like he would. um and it's funny because people like come up to me, they're like, who'd you write that song about? And I'm like, nobody. Like, I didn't write that song about anybody. I just wanted to write that song. I wanted to write a song about some hypothetical uh you know high school king and queen that just have this fall from grace. Everybody loves them, and then all of a sudden they just lose it, and they don't have it anymore. They don't have the thing anymore. And yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. And I like playing it live because it's just a huge piano jam song. So I just like to like really like hit the crap out of the piano when I play that song.
Absolutely. Everybody at Tarrytown was so into that one. Everybody was up and hooting and hollering for you while you were doing that. You had so much energy. But then the studio version's great. It just sounds like a street corner symphony of just like you could just kind of picture that in the city somewhere, all the horns, all the guitars, everything. It's beautiful. Can you tell us about the production behind it?
Yeah, so my best friends, Tyler DeTulio and Charlie Burkett, who I met when I dormed my first semester in Berkeley. They like coincidentally lived on the same floor as me. We all became best friends, and they have become like my closest collaborators, which is, it's funny how things just work out that way. But they get me the most, and they work on all of my songs. They're my producers and my guys. And uh, going into this song, we were just kind of planning what we wanted to do with it. And I was like, we can't take this song too seriously. We have to have fun with this, because I mean, the song is called Nobody Likes You. And we went through a bunch of different ways producing it, and we were unhappy with the first couple run throughs, and it took us a while to get to where it ended up, because we were just trying to overdo it. And then we ended up pulling stuff out, and we realized that the priority was like the horns and the piano and the vocal, and we were just like, okay, that's what it needs to be. And we recorded that in the studio, I think at the beginning of the year, at a Berkeley studio at 2 a.m, because Berkeley studios are so hard to get into because everybody wants to get into them, that the only time that you're basically able to get in is like a 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. session. So we recorded that song from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., probably on a school night.
Wow.
And it was live. It was piano, drums, and bass live together, one take. And it took us a little while to get it, but we ended up getting it, and we nailed it. And then we just built the production around that. And it was a blast. It was a really fun one. It was really fun.
That is so cool. It just goes to show you all the work that really has to go into these things. It doesn't just happen in an instant. And
Yeah.
I remember at St. Rose, it was nearly impossible to get a studio there as well. I remember doing many an overnight working on stuff. So I totally
Yep.
understand you on that. So
Yeah,
you
man.
got the song Nobody Likes You. It's out now. People can check it out. Where can people go to find you, to follow you, check out all your tour dates, check out all your music? Where can they find all this?
Well, I'm most active on my Instagram. So my Instagram is at Kieran Rhodes Music, KIERANRHODES Music. That's my Instagram. But I'm also the same on Facebook and TikTok. And, I post a lot of stuff there, and also on YouTube. If you just search my name up, I will pop up with many, many, many videos of me doing many things. But yeah, if you just stay in touch there, I'll be announcing when shows are and all the new exciting stuff that's coming up.
Awesome. That sounds terrific, man. And I just got to ask, of course, you are upstate New York. How far away are you from the Hudson Valley? I know you have a song called Saratoga 2017. Are you in Saratoga?
Yeah, so I'm like right on the edge of Saratoga and Boston Spa. And that song, Saratoga 2017, is about just growing up in high school. And the song is just about all these just cliche high school things that happen in high school, being stupid. And yeah, I was kind of representing like Saratoga County with that type of Saratoga because, you know, I was all over the place in high school just doing all this sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm like right in that area. I grew up actually in Burnt Hills. So I went to Burnt Hills High School. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, obviously College of St. Rose, Albany. So, you know, lived up there for 5 years. My girlfriend's actually still around the area. She's in Rexford. So I'm traveling up there all the time still.
Yeah, my brother went to St. Rose for a second.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What years?
He graduated high school 2018, so probably 2019 and 2020.
I might have met your brother. What a major.
He was guitar performance or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But
What
he
was your
left.
brother's name then? What was
Kieran Rhodes.
Kieran Rhodes? A name sounds so familiar. I'm going to have to see a picture now. I might have met him actually.
Yeah, you might have, but he didn't last long. He doesn't like school, so he was out of there.
That's fine. School's not for everybody. Trust me.
I know.
I've learned that. Yeah, no, because I graduated 2019, so we would have been there at the same time. I mean, 2020. I graduated 2020.
Yeah.
Infamous, horrible year, unfortunately.
Oh yes, the infamous horrible year for sure.
Yeah. But you know what? Certain things come out of it. And as you said, like even with your own things, like even in the darkest moments, they can be so pivotal and become such a guiding, beautiful light. And
it's so true. It's so true, man. And I see it like every month of my life too. It's just a very, very clear concept of how I feel like this life works sometimes is that you'll go through the worst and it'll feel like the worst. But if you just like hang on a little longer, you'll end up seeing it for what it really was. And it's probably going to be pretty important, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. This domino effect is like, if this didn't happen, I wouldn't have this. I wouldn't have this. And yeah, I think that's really impressive. Kieran, we're about to wrap this up. Do you have any last little nugget for the Town Square listening audience out there?
Yeah, man. I mean, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, at Kieran Rhodes, Kieran Rhodes. You could follow me. You can see all my stuff there. I post every day, and my music is out everywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. And I got new songs coming out over the next few months. So yeah, keep around. Yeah.
Sweet. Looking forward to it. And hey, Kieran, when you got new stuff, let us know. We'd be happy to promote it.
Oh yeah, man. Totally. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Kieran, thank you so much for being here on this Town Square Spotlight.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course.